if you had to look back on your makeup vibe, let's call it, from the beginning of this year to now, you know, it is the end of June right now, so we're about halfway through this year. If you had to think, have your makeup preferences changed? Have they evolved? I know that personally mine have. Some of that could be circumstantial. Some of it could just be aesthetics. I don't know what it is, but I definitely know that the makeup that I was reaching for, especially eyeshadow wise, the makeup I was reaching for at the beginning of the year is very different than it is right now. And we are gonna dive into that today. Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by today. I am really excited for today's Build Your Own palette. This month's theme and my palette today is really focused on how my eyeshadow preferences have changed so far this year. I think this is going to be super fun and I cannot wait to see Kara's palette. Speaking of, if you are new to this series, my friend Kara from Beauty and the Frizz and I started this Build Your Own Palette series to get more use out of the single eyeshadows that we have, to really find a creative way to use the makeup that we own. So please feel free to join in if you would like, whether you are a creator or just a makeup enthusiast. We always enjoy getting to hear your thoughts and see your palettes as well. I'll talk about that a little bit towards the end of this video if you're interested. And I will also make sure to have Kara's video and any other creators that I know that are doing this month linked down below. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, now it is time to dive into this palette. We are going to, of course, do some live swatches of my shades. I'm gonna do a look with you this morning, and then I am planning on doing one more look tomorrow morning before this video has to go up. Fingers crossed it's gonna get done. Let's go ahead and take a peek at this month's palette and I'll get into my thoughts on why I picked all of these. So here we have, sorry for the reflection, there we go. So here we have my shades, and I think I say this maybe every month, but man, 10 shades it's hard to stop at 10. I literally this morning woke up and I'm laying there in bed and I'm like, should I try to like swap some of these out? I feel like I'm missing a vibe just a little bit. And I was like, no, what you are a little bit, but it's just because it's only 10 shades. And you all know that I just like a palette that has, I don't know, 12 shades. I would have liked to have stuck 2 more in here probably, but I'm sticking to the rules, y'all. I'm sticking to the rules. That's literally the only rule of this BYOP is we use 10 shades. Other than that, it's pretty flexed. And honestly, there have been times probably where everyone has sort of stretched those rules just a little bit. So now that you've gotten to see like a little peek at this palette, it's so funny because, I mean, I actually feel like this is somewhat summery. I think a lot of people are like, oh, that's like fall, but I really do think it's fairly summery. And once we get it on, I mean, could it be fall as well? Sure. It can be whatever you want, whenever you want. But I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is summer vibes, but really, I feel like just a general overhaul of the way that my makeup preferences has gone is definitely towards quicker makeup. Like, especially when it comes to eyeshadow, I don't know, I've just been loving focusing more on complexion. And I realized that that has become the trend, and I don't think it had anything to do with that. It was just more like, you know, eyeshadow looks can be time consuming sometimes. And if you are not new to my channel, you know that this has sort of been the year of like overwhelm for me. And so it's just been about a little bit quicker. So a lot of it comes down to that, just things that are, maybe that means that they're like more reliable. Maybe it means that they're less fussy. Maybe it's just a simple look in general. I will say that I also have really gotten into a lot of neutral-ish, like sexy neutrals with a pop of color. And sometimes I go for like hard in on color, but if I do that, usually it's worn in a softer way. So I find that like I'm either, if I'm gonna do something more dramatic, it's maybe gonna be leaning more neutral. If I'm going to do super colorful, it's gonna be worn a little more blown out, a little softer. So that's just kind of been my thing. And there's a little bit of representation of a lot of different thoughts in my head as we get into these shadows. So let's get into this. All right, so this first shade is one of the first few that I picked out. I knew I wanted a nice little spicy, sparkly moment, and this is one that always comes to mind for me. Let's go ahead and we can zoom in a little bit here. There we go. It's pretty dark this morning, so I do have my lights up a bit, so I will probably turn them down at the end of these swatches just to kind of like show you a little bit more. So this is Centaurus from Devinah, and I just love the shade. It is a sexy, spicy neutral. I love the fact that this has almost like a green gold, a bit of like a copper, a bronze. It is very pretty, and it does have that nice sparkly reflect that we have come to know from Devinah. And so I think that, I don't know, we're gonna go, I feel like I usually do my other hand, but we're gonna go this way today. Oh, I don't have my watch on, that's probably why. It just felt a little weird. I was like, I usually go this way. Anyway, we're gonna go like this. And I really think that this is one of those shades that, you know, is really pretty in the summertime. I mean, you just get so much sparkle and reflectivity from it. Anyway, the camera keeps wanting to focus on my face. So, okay, let's go into this next one. Now, this next one was actually the last shade that I picked out for this palette. Like I said, I have been enjoying a pop of color, whether that is in a shimmer or a matte, but I wanted a matte in here that was nice and bright, that I could choose to use as a crease matte. I could use it to, you know, get like a pop on the inner corner if I wanted something funky one day. And I actually swatched a few. There's a shade a bit similar to this in the Glaminatrix Nocturnal palette, which I just heard is restocking, but I did swatch that next to this one, and the one in the Nocturnal palette it wasn't quite as like bright. It was a little bit more murky, and so I wanted this brightness. And oh my gosh, this is from Glam Shop, and this is Kwazniak. I will have it listed down below. I don't know if they make this anymore. I feel like the Glam Shop mattes are like a formula that maybe isn't everyone's favorite. It is a softer, powdery matte, so they can tend to be a little bit unstable, if you will, but there's just something about this. I mean, again, my lights are turned up pretty high right now, so it might be getting a little bit washed out, but there is just something to this that it's like that grungy lime, you know what I mean? It's like got a little bit of pea soup, but it also just has like a bit of neon to it, and I really like that. So I think this is gonna be a fun one to have. Again, I could like pack it on the inner corner, whether it's just with another matte or doing it with a shimmer. I think it just has some really fun options. Okay, this next one was one of my very first Terra Moons purchases. It was in my first order, I'm pretty sure. And this is just, I don't know, harking back to when I first started shopping single eyeshadows, before my collection got overwhelmingly large, when I really was, first of all, everything seemed new and exciting because it was new and exciting to me. I didn't have crossover shades. I wasn't like, oh, I have this shade in another brand, or this is only 10% different than that single that I picked up from this brand, you know, 3 months ago. So it's partially just to be like, oh yeah, I remember when everything was like a little bit more special because I didn't have doubles. They weren't all so similar, but it's also just to remind me that I have and have had for a while some really fun colors in my collection. So that being said, this is one that I think has a pretty good fan base. This is Hot Spice Cider. I know Kara has this one because I think we purchased them around the same time. Maybe we each got different things from Terra Moons, and she got this one, and I think when I saw the swatch I was like, oh yeah, that's going on my wish list. I mean, I can still remember, honestly, I remember being in bed on the other side of the house when we lived on the other side of the rental, and like shopping, adding things to my Terra Moons cart. And, you know, when I swatched this, I was like, yeah, baby, like this shade. And granted, you know what? There are a lot of brands that have a shade similar to this. I am not sure. I think Terra Moons might have discontinued this one. But look, it is just this very classic, you know, you've got that, I always call it like a mahogany base, that brownish base with that green, almost into like a green-blue flip. It's pretty. I feel like you almost get a bit of like a taupey purple out of that too, just in the way that the colors combine. It's just so much fun. So this is a color where it's like, it's colorful, but I don't know, in an understated way. And I'm really enjoying that. So I absolutely love this one. The next shade is actually a more recent purchase. I do think that this is from my most recent Cliondadh purchase, and this is really representing like the type of multi-chrome that I am really enjoying. And it is that softer base, you know, still shifty, but just a little bit softer. And I love that they decided to do the jeweled Lite multi-chromes. This is Burnish Lite from that set. I mean, again, it's a green, like, are we surprised? But I swatched quite a few Cliondadh shades to decide, like, is there one of these that I wanted to put in here? And this one, I was like, yeah, this needs to be it, because it's magical, but wearable, and whatever that means to anybody, but there's just something about this, and I love that it does have that lighter base. You still get a lot of pop. I mean, look, okay, there are the times where you buy indie eyeshadows and you get them and you're like, okay, I don't know if this was like worth the money. And I will be honest, there are times where just Cliondadh as a brand, I'm like, okay, how much is this? This is like getting up there. But then I swatch this and I see this. I see how bam this is and just how luminescent it is. And then I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. So, you know, that's good because I spent the money on it, but it does make me very happy. And it's just a color that it's like, this is definitely my vibe. If I'm going to be going colorful, I want that, like, I don't know, just that luminosity to be there. All right, this next shade. So I am always on, I've just been on the hunt for like the perfect, not too bronze, not too champagne, not too rosy, definitely not too golden. I don't know, I've like gold shadows to me right now. I'm just like, and I was swatching all of these different shadows and I was opening up all my palettes, and it's like, because that perfect, like, I'm gonna call it like a bronzy nude, is just so flattering and so easy to like pop on the eye, easy peasy, and I can be done. Or you can really like glam it up, right? It's just so classic. I mean, I do have a couple shades that right away I thought about popping in here, but I've used them in BYOPs recently. And then I opened up this palette and I was like, you know what? I'm going with this one. So this is a highlighter. Do I care? No, absolutely not. This is a highlighter from Sydney Grace. And actually, I feel like their highlighter formula is actually very similar to their shimmer shadow formula. So this is Sandy Beach. I am 99% sure that I got this in a mystery bag. And I will be honest, this, because it is, I just loaded a bunch on here, but this is such a opaque formula. I just grabbed like quite a bit. I think it probably has a bit more emulsifier in it as a highlighter, but this is such a thick, opaque formula. I don't think I could ever wear this as a highlight without like using the lightest hand with a duo fiber brush. So why not use it as an eyeshadow? Also, this is celebrating just using my makeup. Using my makeup, and the Sydney Grace highlighters, I don't reach for because they are so opaque. So I might as well use it as an eyeshadow. All right, this next shade, I just know that this is a great date night shade for me. It's a great flattering shade when I want a bit more depth in my shimmer, and I am biased because it's one that I created. So this is Virgo from Pretties for Your Face, and this just is, to me, it's just the perfect kind of rosy, kind of brown, works on just about everybody. You know, when I did the Virgo and the Maiden, you have one shade that is a little bit warmer and you have one shade that is a little bit cooler. And so I just find that I love them both a lot. And this was just the one that I wanted to pull in today. I mean, look how pretty that is. So good. I feel like there is something about a shade like this that is just so flattering on green and even blue eyes that, I don't know, it's just, to me, I know that I could use this all over with another shade that's in here for a beautiful like date night smoky eye. And you could also just use it on the outer corner for a little bit of depth if you're just using a light shimmer. I mean, you could use it as a beautiful lash line color. Like, it's just lovely. I mean, look at this, like, it's got just enough reflectivity. I definitely find that when it comes to shimmers, I have been going more towards less of the sparkle. I mean, you know, I've never been a huge fan of like highly textured flaky shadows, but about as sparkly as I want to get is, you know, kind of within what's in Centaurus here. So that micro reflect, maybe on like an inner corner, I do like a little bit of that extra sparkle. I was thinking about like adding a shade like that in here and it just didn't end up happening. I mean, for me, a lot of it is I have been enjoying doing my makeup first most days. And so my makeup, not like eyeshadow isn't makeup, you know, the rest of my makeup. And that means that I need shades that are just gonna fall out less. And I find that, you know, the more sparkly they are, you can tend to get a little bit of those sparkle freckles, and I just don't want that. But I just find that I've just been liking a beautiful creamy shimmer, and there is nothing wrong with that. All right, the other thing that I will always love and enjoy and will always make me happy, not so much this formula, but the shade. This is Dijon from Dandelions. You know that I think that these shadows are absolutely beautiful. The colors are beautiful, the shadows are pigmented, but they are so soft. Like literally just now going like this and putting this magnet on, it like kicked up a bunch of powder and I just had to tap it off so it doesn't like fall all over the rest of these shadows. Like I just wish they were just a little bit more stable. Like they're less stable than the Glam Shop ones. So this shade though is absolutely beautiful. It is that perfect dirty camel kind of warm mustardy color without being too yellow. Sorry for the dog scratches. Jet and I were having a conversation outside. Mostly it was him jumping on me because he was excited and me telling him to stop. Okay. By the way, puppy training is coming in a couple weeks. We are all very excited for that. Anyway, Dijon is that beautiful, just like toasty, can whisk it all over my lid, wear it as a lash line color. It's just absolutely beautiful. Again, if I had room in this palette, I probably would have added one like down the middle neutral, just like in like a shade that's like maybe 1 or 2 shades darker than my skin tone, because that is definitely something that is like a go-to for me. But this is sort of like my other go-to shade, just having that like toasty, warm, dirty camel shade. Leave a camel down below if you've been here since the dirty camel days. All right, so we have the shade Seed from Glaminatrix. I have not used this one yet, but I was looking for a beautiful, rich, sort of chocolatey brown. This definitely has a beautiful undertone. I'm gonna say it's like kind of like a fudgy, like that sort of like chocolate raspberry fudgy undertone. This again is another pretty soft matte. I have got so much fallout down here, but look at that shade. That is just beautiful. I think, you know, the contrast between these two is absolutely beautiful. Of course, when I was talking about date night, I could see using this and this. Oh, absolutely pretty. And it's just gonna go with a lot of these. It's gonna be that shade that can add depth. I might like a simple look, but there are those times where, especially with my eye shape, to be able to create a bit of depth out here just really helps me get that elongated look that I like. And it's just something that I absolutely love. So I wanted to make sure to have one much deeper shade in here. And this way we can try this together, because I think that I'm going to use that in a look tomorrow. Today's probably going to be the more simple look, and tomorrow morning, hopefully I'll have some time to do something a bit more. And this one is definitely a shade that I have used quite a bit. It is such a beautiful happiness shade, and I think that for this time of year, it's really fun to use. This is Geese from Sydney Grace. So you know that I love a good yellow. Maybe you were surprised to not see like a brighter like yellow in here. I absolutely love that, but honestly, I just have some fun yellow palettes I would probably grab for that. So I wanted to grab something that's going to be a little bit more of like a easy, you know, like an easy grab. So this shade is that, it's not a butter yellow. It's, I don't know how to explain this one. It's like a neutralized yellow, if that even makes sense. So, well, you're probably barely going to even be able to see it there underneath that Glaminatrix shade. So it's just a really nice one. And again, this is one that I can just sweep all over. It's very brightening. I could absolutely use that as like a pop on the inner corner as well. There are a lot of days recently where I have literally done like one matte shadow and then I've been doing a liner. Like, who am I? I barely ever have worn liner in the last couple of years, but it's just been kind of something fun to do, and I'm trying to use up some of my liners. So that's been nice, and I think that that shade would be really easy to do that with. All right, final shade. So I flip-flopped quite a bit here, and I decided to keep this one in. I had this one in, I took it out, I put it back in, and I was like, you know what? I just love this shade so much. It's so brightening. I think I could use this as an inner corner. I could use it all over the lid. I could make a fun halo eye with it. And it is the coolest tone that's in here while still being, I would say, fairly neutral. This is Erratic from Devinah. You can see I've got a nice little dip in this one. And there's good reason, because this is just, it is the prettiest neutralized silver, I guess. Like, I mean, it's not a silver. If you put it next to a silver, you're not gonna think it's silver, but it is that just perfect. I mean, look how bright that is. It catches the light. So when I found the Sandy Beach shade, I was like, oh, maybe I should take this one out. But I was like, no, you know what? This just brings so much more light. I bet if we like take this and like, see, now you can see maybe, oh, of course, now that the sun is finally coming out. So if I can like get a little closer here. So maybe you can see right here how if I like spread this out, it has that nice like neutralized nude with some sparkle to it. So that's going to be a really pretty inner corner as well. So you can like put it on, cram it on, or you can wear it a little bit softer like that. I mean, look how much of a difference that is. That looks like two different eyeshadows. Anyway, I'm excited to play with these, so we should probably do that. I am definitely going to have to wipe down my vanity because it is chaos right now. These soft mattes, y'all, these soft mattes. So now that I have the natural light, I'm gonna turn down this one just a little bit so that you can see. I mean, I love this set of colors. All right, so I am probably just going to give you a little music. I'm just gonna speed through this first look, and then we will see the second look together as well, as long as I have time in the morning. Now, if for some reason I didn't have time to do the second look, I promise I will post one on Instagram, so make sure you're following there at KEEPBEAUTYREAL. Okay, I totally just got distracted by like how sparkly these are in the sunlight. By the way, the sun is probably just gonna do all sorts of crazy things. I'm not gonna take the time to figure all that out, close the curtains, blah, blah, blah. So just, this is real life. All right, now let's do the eyeshadow. Right, a coat of mascara, 2 coats of mascara. I also went through with this Odin's eye pencil. I'm trying to use these up. I popped a little bit of this. I think this one was called Avocado. It's number 5, whatever, it's the green. These take a while to get on the lash line, but I just wanted that little pop. So I have to say, I love this. I just love this so much. It is, you know, it's neutral-ish. I mean, it's very warm, obviously, but it's like in that realm of like average colors, but a much more than average finish, I feel like. So I'm loving it. I mean, I'm just gonna enjoy getting to see this all day. So I hope that you enjoyed getting to follow along for this eye look. Now let's move into the second. All right, hello and happy, very sunny morning. The sun is just at the right spot where there is no way, unless I'm gonna sit here in the mega dark, there's no way that I can do anything about this. So I've sort of tried to dim it down just a little bit. Hopefully you'll still all be able to see. I cannot wait to share with you next month's theme. It's gonna be a fun one. So we're gonna do this look and then I'll let you know at the end. I just can't seem to win. We've got either too much light, not enough light. Jet knocked over one of my lights. It's been a whole morning. But I really do like this look. I hope you were able to see as I was doing it, but honestly, it was very quick, very easy. I just used the Virgo all over my lid, and I was planning on taking that sand, I think that's what that shade was called, the one from Glaminatrix. I was planning on taking that through my crease, but honestly, I just used a dry brush to blend out the edge of Virgo. I like the shape I ended up with. I didn't really want to make it much darker, so I ended up just using that and smudging it under the lash line. And then this is Devinah Erratic on my inner corner, and I've never used it as an inner corner shade, and I think, like I showed in the swatches, buffing it out a little bit, it really just makes it this beautiful, like softer yet super bright shade. Soft and super bright at the same time. I hope you guys know what I mean. So I'm very happy with this. I did pop on a little bit of black liner into my lash line, and this for me is a great look. I think it's, like I said, more of that like classic, a little bit more of that supermodel smudgy kind of moment. I am gonna take some of my Fenty Gloss Bomb. My lip treatment I had on this morning has come off because I've been enjoying a protein drink and lots of water this morning. So we'll pop this on. I am gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through this year. I really have not been doing that well with my my project use up. I don't even know what I'm calling it, but you know, the few things that I said that I'm gonna really try to get through this year. Okay, so that is it. Let's talk a little bit about next month's theme. So Stephen Ford had recently messaged Kara and I. You know, we love it when our friends kind of like reach out with different BYOP ideas, and Stephen said, how about a palette based on a favorite fragrance? And you know, Stephen knows that Kara and I are just as much of fragrance lovers as he is, and so of course we were both all about it. So we are going to do a palette next month based on a favorite summer fragrance. I think this is going to be a great one. Thank you so much, Stephen, for that idea. That is amazing. I am so excited for this palette. I cannot wait. The hardest thing is going to be to pick a fragrance to base it on. So maybe what I will do is I'll probably end up putting up a poll a couple of weeks beforehand and maybe picking my like three. I'll pick 3 fragrances, and maybe on Instagram and here on YouTube, I'll do a little poll, and the winner will be the one that I do. I think that would be fun. I think I'm gonna do that. So make sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss out on that poll. All right, thanks for sticking around with me through this sunny morning. Let me know which look you prefer, and also let me know, like, what is your makeup vibe recently? I would really love to know. Leave a comment down below. All right, lovelies, thank you so much for joining me for this BYOP. Like I said, I thought that this was gonna be a fun look into seeing how makeup preferences, makeup tastes, you know, whether it's because of trends, whether it's just because of your life, whether it's, I don't know, whatever it could be. Like, it's just really interesting to see how we reach for different things as time goes on. So maybe towards the end of this year, we'll have to do another one of these. That will be interesting. I'll have to talk to Kara. We'll see how we're feeling by the end of the year. But I really enjoyed this little set. I mean, if this look and the way that this look makes me feel is any sign, I am actually going to really enjoy having this palette out for a while to use it. Since Kara and I haven't talked about what we're gonna be doing next month, hopefully I will have chatted with her a little bit, and you will have found that out as I was doing my makeup for the second look. If it isn't there, it'll be down in the comments. I'll pin a comment with next month's theme. If you are a creator, we post on the last Thursday of each month, and please feel free to join in. If you know you're going to be, just let me know, and I will make sure to add you into the description box so people can check out your content as well. If you are just a makeup enthusiast and you want to share with us, please post a picture of swatches, of your palette, of an eye look, whatever you'd like. You can tag Kara and I over on Instagram. She is Beauty in the Frizz, and I am Keep Beauty Real. Thank you all so much. This was a really fun one. I really enjoy doing these BYOPs, but there was just something about this one, you know, taking a time to pause and reflect back on really, you know, what I've been enjoying wearing, what's been making me happy, what's been getting me through the mornings, whether it's just because it's really quick and easy, or it's something that I know that is going to make me feel super confident. All right, lovelies, that is going to be it. I will see you really soon.